Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is not a normal video or live that I do, but I had to get on today because I saw something last night that just drove me insane. What day did it come out? It came out May 31st. But before that, if you are new here, please like, share, subscribe. That would be very kind of you. I do lean to the right, so I don't want to mislead anybody with where I'm coming from on any topic. But I respect all sides. I respect all points of views, as long as they make sense. Today, I'm going to be talking about something different. This is not like my normal live format. This is going to be a premiere. But I still, please, I would love for you guys to still comment and engage in a chat, because I will be in a chat when I put this on. Today, I'm going to be talking about an episode. Let me pull it up now. Again, this is a little bit off topic from what I've been doing. Got my Trump shirt on, ready to go. Trump 2024 shirt. This panel, let's see, what is it called? He's just a big fat liar. Cool. All right. So this panel it's crazy. First of all, let me go ahead and like this before I start. Bam. All right. It's from Piers Morgan's Uncensored show. I don't know where you can find this. I have not watched it. But last night I watched 2 episodes, and it drove me crazy. One was actually rational, but this panel here is crazy. So before I do anything with it, I'm going to do this. So hopefully you can see my, see if you can see my mouse. I don't know if you can see my mouse. So you have Piers Morgan, who is definitely left of center. I think he has dual citizenship. If not, if he were American, he would be a patriot. He does respect the country, even though I don't agree with a lot of the things that he says. He does respect the country. Then you have this guy here. Again, I can't tell if you guys can see my. Oh yeah, there it is. His name is Cenk Uygur. I think I said his last name wrong. He's insane. He is a Bernie Sanders leftist. Anything that is against the country, you will find Cenk all for and all in. He has zero respect for anyone who disagrees with him, which is why I have zero respect for him. There are people on the left that I respect. Tim Pool's one of them. He's so far left that he finally came around to supporting Trump, but he is not by any means a leftist, or I'm sorry, a psychopath. Cenk Uygur, again, I think I'm saying his name right. I just know his name is Cenk, and I know he's threatened to fight people. This guy's tried to fight Joe Rogan, or he said he wanted to fight Joe Rogan over the vax. He's you know, in debates with Ben Shapiro, he said crazy things. He almost got into a fight with Alex Jones. This guy is completely unhinged. He's gotten thrown off of airplanes. He's not a normal person. I don't know, with blood pressure that high, how he's still functioning. This guy here, Vinny, I don't know much about him. I know he's a veteran, but he's on the right. So now he's MAGA. But he's what's wrong with MAGA, because he can't articulate without getting emotional and really upset. I understand when things happen, like the 34 convictions, the fake 34 convictions. I understand being upset, but when you display it the way this guy is about to display it, it's not productive. This guy here, so this guy ran for office. He won in New York, and then he got kicked out of Congress. I don't know why he's up here. I don't know why he's even in this discussion, but he's also on the right, or so he says. And he says the right things, but again, if you're going to have somebody represent you, you don't want a guy who is a known liar and a guy who just got kicked out of Congress because he lied so much. Then you got this young lady. I don't know who she is, but later in this video, you find out more about her. And I'm going to play the video now. This is a wild panel. I don't know how. Let me make this bigger. I don't know how Piers thought that this was going to be a productive conversation, but it's very clear that it's entertainment for sure. There's a lot of entertainment value here. So when it comes to that, I understand. And we're going to watch this, and I'm going to give my 2 cents.
This was by far the weakest. I think it was a massive stretch to try and turn it into a felony. And I think because of that, because Bragg is clearly such a partisan guy, that is playing right into Trump's hands to play the martyr.
So obviously this is right after the convictions, and they're talking about that. The convictions, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Trump was convicted a few days ago. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's no reason to explain it because you should know by now. It's huge. It's been huge news. It's going to be huge news all the way through to the election. But that's what they're talking about here.
And it will galvanize his base. We saw last night that the funding websites were literally breaking down because people were donating so much money. Could this not have the complete opposite effect that at the moment gleeful Democrats hope, which is that it might propel him back to the White House?
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there, I think. Starting with the end, of course it could propel him back to the White House. And of course his fundraising is likely to have gone up through the roof, skyrocketed since the verdict came out. I think I'd agree with you that it's the weakest of the 4 cases. I think when we first heard the charges from Alvin Bragg, a lot of us were kind of raising our eyes at the number of them, 34. It was actually consistently the same charge, but brought on sort of different dates. And I think that still remains. It is the weakest of the 4 charges, but it is still the one that was before the courts. And it is still the one that was before the jury. And essentially, you're giving us the New York Post monologue, Piers, which I think is that if you decide that the whole thing is rigged, which Trump has been doing way, way before these cases even came to court, way, way before the 2020 election was fought, he's used the word rigged against them the whole time, then clearly you're just going to propel that narrative to a place where you're feeling happy with it. I think that what happened in the court yesterday was that a jury who had been selected independently, gone through the ringer pretty much to assert their nuances and their leanings and all the rest of it, unanimously came to the conclusion that with the evidence put before them, including documentary evidence, he was guilty of those charges. Now, I think America will decide what they do with that. But I think if you're going to start undermining the rule of law, you set yourself against the American people. You set yourself against the people who have decided that they want to believe in the rule of law, even for presidents.
Okay.
So the issue with what she just said is the jury's instructions from the judge were you don't have to be unanimous. Again, this is a criminal trial. This is not civil. So what she's saying right off the bat is disingenuous. And she's smart, so I don't think she's accidentally saying the things that she's saying, undermining the rule of law, things like that. Yes, Trump has been saying things are rigged when they started rigging them. When states started changing their election laws, he started saying, well, wait a minute, what are we doing here? Why is this happening? They're trying to rig an election. So it's been going on. It's never stopped. It started in 2015 when they made a fake Russian dossier investigation against him. And then they tried to impeach him twice. So listening to her say it like he's just making stuff up out of thin air is very interesting. And you notice she has an accent. She's not even American. So I don't know where her passion's coming from, other than she just doesn't like a guy.
Cenk Uygur, you were also not nodding vigorously through my monologue. And here's the point I would put to you on the back of what Emily just said. I remember Bill Clinton having sex with an intern in the Oval Office while he was president. I remember him paying off another woman, I think $800,000 over harassment allegations she made against him. What I don't remember is Bill Clinton, despite all that, ever appearing in a courtroom and being criminally prosecuted. And I think this is the problem that Democrats are now going to face, which is the apparent, obvious double standard. It's not to defend anything that Trump has done. It's simply to say, why is he the one who's been singled out for this treatment, given that Bill Clinton and others on the Democrat side were never treated this way?
Yeah, Piers, I'm bilingual. I speak both populist and establishment. So in this case, I think that both sides have a point, but often misstated. So first of all, does the establishment target people that challenge its power? Yes, it does. So it'll go against populist left and populist right. It'll try to do cancel culture.
It's never gone against the left. What he just said is 100% false. And I would challenge him to give some examples because I've never seen it go against the left, and I've been paying attention to this stuff for a long time.
Whenever it wants to target someone, it'll dig and dig and dig. So I've been the victim of that. A lot of people have been the victim of that. But in my case, for example, they dug and found absolutely nothing. So they had to go to jokes from 19 years ago, jokes. So that's when you know someone's as clean as a whistle.
Pay attention to what he just said, because that's going to come back. He said people looked into him and couldn't find anything, and he's clean as a whistle. And that's going to come back up, or I'm going to bring it back up.
But the minute you dig under Donald Trump, just a giant number of crimes spring up because he's a lifelong con man and he's a lifelong criminal. So I think that but at the same time, MAGA has an instinct that isn't wrong. So let me explain that, because the people in the establishment and Democrats can't understand this for the life of them. Look, guys, and MAGA gets a part of it wrong too, which is that Donald Trump actually wasn't going to be charged with any of this stuff as long as he didn't run for president again, even though he did all of these crimes. Taking those top secret documents home is mental. It's insane. Of course, his biggest crime is that he had the false elector scheme to do a coup against America. And in this particular case, did he do this crime? Indisputably so. That's why it was so easy for the jury.
So notice he brought up the documents. I don't remember if he gets challenged, but what about Joe Biden's documents? Joe Biden's collecting documents for decades, and he kept them in his garage where he lived with his crackhead son. But let's continue.
You mentioned that Michael Cohen is a convicted felon. Yeah, he was convicted for this same exact crime.
That's not what he was convicted for. Michael Cohen made payments to Stormy Daniels. Those payments were never connected to Donald Trump. Michael Cohen was convicted of perjury, and he's trying to tie them together to make it look like people are just coming out of nowhere by calling Michael Cohen a convicted felon.
They're co-conspirators. This is a serious case. Falsifying business records. Alvin Bragg, has anybody else been prosecuted?
You're not answering my question, which is why is it one rule applied to Trump, but a very different set of rules applying to Bill Clinton, who committed what I would argue were far worse offenses, frankly, than what Trump did in the Stormy Daniels case.
And what he's talking about Bill Clinton is Paula Jones accused him of the R word. And Bill Clinton settled, and it was on TV while he was the president. This happened, mind you, for $800,000. He then was caught getting oral pleasure from an intern in the Oval Office. And he was not convicted of anything. They didn't go after the guy. He lied to Congress. He lied to the American people. And they're dismissing it because it happened a long time ago. What Piers keeps trying to narrow down or hammer down is, hey, this didn't happen before. And this guy gave $800,000. Trump gives $130,000. It's not even proven that he paid it. Hush money to somebody who consensually slept with him, and we're trying to put him in jail.
No, Piers, what you're misunderstanding is that there's two different sets of rules for the powerful and the powerless. So the powerless will be convicted, it will be tried on all these crimes. The powerful are never tried on any of these crimes.
Except Trump.
What MAGA and you are complaining about is, oh my God, Donald Trump is being treated like a normal person instead of one of the elites. If you're one of the elites, you're allowed to do campaign violence violations. You're allowed to break all these laws.
Cenk, you're not listening. That's not what I'm putting to you. I'm putting to you.
That's exactly what you're saying.
No, I'm asking you why Bill Clinton was never put through a criminal court mincer, given what he did, many would argue, was worse.
Piers, no, not even close to worse. That's absurd.
Really?
Look, Piers, yes.
Having sex with an intern in the Oval Office and then lying about it to the American people? paying off
listen,
Paula Jones hundreds of thousands of dollars to settle a harassment case? You don't think that's at
not
least
illegal.
as bad,
That's
if not
not even
worse?
close to illegal.
Trump had
Piers, look,
Trump had a one-night stand with a porn star 18 years ago. Who cares? He wasn't running for president then.
Of course,
he was a business guy.
Piers, you're not okay. Listen, back when Clinton was being impeached, etc., I was a Republican.
He was never a Republican.
As always, I was unbiased, and I said, "What are we? We started on a real estate deal. It turns out he didn't do anything wrong in the real estate deal. Now we're going into his personal life, and then you dig and dig. It's well, you didn't. You denied the affair when you actually had the affair. Oh, what was he going to do? Admit it?" And I was like, "Guys, this is."
The real estate deal was they said he inflated his property value. And I don't even know if this is what he's trying to refer to, but there was no victim in this so-called crime. He inflated his property value supposedly. And I don't even think that case is going to go all the way through. But the banks didn't care. They loaned him the money and they were paid back with interest. And this is what they're saying he must go to jail for. But in this case, they're saying that he was falsifying documents to show that he did not pay off Stormy Daniels. And Stormy Daniels came in and did a smear campaign on him after going on Bill Maher and admitting there was no unconsensual anything. It was 100% consensual. She admitted it, and then she goes into court and lied. So either she lied then or she lied in court. But now somehow this means Trump should go to prison.
It's a fishing expedition. But what I'm trying to explain to you, Piers, is that if you go on a fishing expedition on Trump, which I think they did, they weren't going to because he was one of the elites. They were going to. Merrick Garland protected him for 2.5 years. The whole time I'm screaming, will you try him already? He tried to coup, you idiot.
Right, look,
and he let him stay there for 2.5 years. But when you go on a fishing expedition with Donald Trump, you come back with a lot of fish. You come back with whales.
Yeah, but trust me,
can't stop
when you
breaking
go
the law.
Okay, but when you go on one with Bill Clinton, you catch a lot of fish too. Let's bring in George Santos.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Yes, you did.
You didn't.
Yes,
you said that he paid off Paula Jones. That's not a crime. That's not even close to a crime.
Okay, clearly not if you're a Democrat.
That's just settling a case.
Okay, so when Trump settles the case, it's a crime. When Bill Clinton does, it's not.
But that's not. Wait a minute.
Even though in Bill Clinton's case, even though in Bill Clinton's case, hang on. Even though in Bill Clinton's case,
it was he falsified business records, right?
It was in Bill Clinton's case, it was for sexual harassment. In Trump's case, it was simply a payoff to keep a porn star quiet. Again, I say that the allegation that Paula Jones made was more serious.
No, listen, you're wrong on the facts. Settlement is not a crime. Even sexual harassment is not a crime. You can say it's terrible. It's not a crime. So in the case of Donald Trump, falsifying business records is definitely a crime. 34 other people went to jail for it under Alvin Bragg.
Okay.
So why should Donald Trump be above the law?
Okay.
Piers, you're literally saying, even if you were right and Bill Clinton was quote unquote above the law, you're saying, well, Donald Trump should be above the law. He should be able to break any law he likes.
No, I actually
because he's one of the elites.
Okay, I'm going to come to George Santos. I don't think it serves the American national interest to see a president, one of the 46 people to hold this incredible office, dragged through a criminal court over something so comparatively trivial that would normally just be a state misdemeanor and has been trumped up to be this huge felony. And it's a deliberate attempt to stop Trump winning the election. I mean, it plays right
well, you agree that his other crimes are monstrous,
Let me bring in George.
How about a coup? Is that a bad enough crime? A coup?
So now you just heard two leftists, and you had heard a centrist trying to rationalize with it. It's not going to happen. Look at Chank's eyes right there, by the way. You just got to say that there was a coup. These people are so far left. Well, let's see, on the screen it's probably left. That they don't hear themselves. So now what's he going to do? He's going to go to somebody on the right who is an absolute kook and is a bona fide liar to the point, like I said, where he got kicked out of Congress.
Facing other charges, which in my view are more serious. George Santos, your response to all this?
Well, look, Piers, it's very clear. This is nothing more than a misdemeanor type of a case. They had to trump it up, no pun intended, in order to even bring the case to create relevancy. I've heard, and we've heard from pundits on both the left and the right for the last 2 months, that this was the weakest, the most full of flaws. The fact that the process alone that the judge set forward was so convoluted, we still don't know what crimes President Trump is found guilty of.
Now, that's a fact. The liar is 100% correct. George Santos is the biggest liar. He's one of the biggest liars. But what he's saying here is true. See, I can be fair. This guy was on the right, still claims to be on the right. But he's one of the biggest liars I've ever seen make it to office, which is saying a lot, because if you look at Congress, there are a lot of liars. But just look at the behavior of these people up here. It's really, really bad. Cenk is doing all this hum and hawing. This lady over here is doing this really weird, smug smirk. This guy in the middle, who, again, I agree with him, but his behavior is so childish. And you're seeing what the left, or on you guys' screen, the left and the right bring when you have the far elements of the left and the right. And I'm far to the right, but I'm rational, and I don't act like these people. I'm acting like this right now because I think it's funny. But yeah, so listen to him. He did just make a good point. The DA never made a clear case against Trump. They just kept bringing up people to call him a liar and accuse him of things. Even in the closing arguments, he never gave the felony that kicked all of this off. It never happened. But anyway, let's go. Sorry.
And he's convicted. So the reality of the case is it's no, we don't, not per se. It's going to fall apart in appeals, and we all know that. But here's the reality. America today doesn't have the moral ground to talk about Venezuela, to talk about Russia and Putin, because we're doing the same thing. We're persecuting our political opponents. Next step is we're going to start killing them, because the reality is what took place.
The one thing I would say, the one guaranteed thing, and I'll bring in Vincent here. The one guaranteed thing is that now the benchmark has been set by the Democrats to politically prosecute.
Well, Joe Biden better buckle up, because it's going to be a rough ride.
I'm about to say that, is that now they set the precedent for doing this. You don't think the Republicans are going to do exactly the same thing?
I don't.
The Democrats, of course they are. And that's why I say it's not in America's national interest.
Wait a second.
Emily?
George Santos is talking about moral ground. I think I'm going insane here. The man who just got expelled from Congress for lying, repeatedly lying. You're trying to tell us what the moral high ground is here? I think George, honestly,
well, here's the difference.
So what this panel is crazy. What she's saying is 100% correct, but it's an ad hominem attack. Why is she talking about him on this show when the topic is Donald Trump being guilty, and was it a mistake for the Democrats to go after him the way they did? She immediately goes after him because this panel is full of unhinged people. Again, I'm talking about them, but I'm not on this panel. I'm talking about them because of how insane this panel is.
You may be the creation.
Well, I don't. First of all, we'll start this way. I don't care what you think, but I'll say this: my expulsion from Congress was arbitrary in its nature. Right? Because if you look at the process, it was also skewed. But I'm not here to debate that. I'm here to debate President Trump.
I'm just
now,
saying
if you want to talk about moral ground, and if you want to give your opinion, I didn't come on the panel to hear your opinion.
No, I'm just saying this is how it starts. I think, George, you're probably like the son of the heir to Trump. Trump goes forward. He shows people what he can do. He gets away with it. Then the next thing you know, the legislators are coming in. They make up CVs. They lie to death. They just sit it out. They then turn it into a movie. You are a creation of Donald Trump. It seems to me really obvious that this is what
I would argue like that Joe Biden is the creation of lying in politics. Joe Biden is top of his class in law school. Joe Biden had to drop out of an entire presidential run for plagiarizing. I mean, come on. You can't make that argument and ignore Joe Biden, the sitting president of the United States, who's the lying commander-in-chief.
Okay, let me bring in...
the biggest liar to ever be president of the United States.
Thank you, George. Just bring in Vincent. You've been waiting patiently. Vincent, your view of all this.
He's not patient.
Patiently, but I'm imploding inside because of hearing all this freaking nonsense. Like, as I'm in here in this van, Piers, I'm picturing Lady Justice, and I want to believe that she's still standing tall in the greatest country in the world. But yesterday, her blindfold was ripped off, her scales were tipped, and the snake at her feet won. Okay, this wasn't humiliation. As much as Cenk and whoever that lady is wants to talk crap about you, he's not humiliated. He has the toughest skin out of anybody that I've ever seen as a president, because he's a New Yorker, And guess what? He doesn't give two damns. You know who was embarrassed? You know who was embarrassed? The country. Okay, but you know what, Piers? Nobody's asking why. Why, since the day this man announced that he was going to run, the left, everybody, the swamp, all these deep state, they all turned on him. Everybody, you know, from the DOJ, Obama with spying on his campaign, from Hillary with 2016 with her BS dossier with the Russian collusion, the two fake impeachments, the January 6th setup, Cenk, you and this coup BS that you keep spewing with all the FBI agents in the crowd inside the Capitol. You're talking nonsense, Cenk, okay? And then now this lawfare, it's ridiculous, okay? It's humiliating to the world. And I want to say, Donald Trump in 2024, I can't wait, okay? I cannot wait for him to come in. And 2020, that November is going to be from day one, a day of reckoning. And I hope he comes after all the Democrats. Because, by the way, Hillary Clinton, and you mentioned Bill Clinton, rape, sex allegations, rape, Hillary with her emails, Benghazi, how many charges? How many trials, Piers? Zero.
Well, that is
Joe
the point
Biden,
I've been trying to. Well, okay, I was actually going to ask Emily quickly on that point.
So, again, I agree with this guy's points, but why the animation? The animation, I just want to get my point across and let everybody. Lady Liberty is crying. Like, come on. You can make a point, even if you feel all this stuff. Even if you're a military vet and you're really passionate about Lady Liberty, do you really have to do that, man? Again, we have the left, or whatever on your screen. We have the left on mine and the right on mine. And we're looking at people who are way too, I don't want to say way too passionate, maybe way too expressive. You can do this in a way that the other side hears you. But when you behave like these people, it's insane to watch. And I get it. This is Piers Morgan Uncensored. This is entertainment, but geez, you got to get more rationally minded people to do stuff like this.
You wrote a powerful column today about how the women have all shown themselves to be very strong with Trump and the men have been spineless all around him, which is a perfectly reasonable argument to make. But again, that point, which the Republicans keep making, the double standard when it's applied to Bill Clinton in relation to Trump. You know, when you have a president, an actual sitting president, who had sex with an intern in the Oval Office and then lied to the American people and paid off a woman for sexual harassment, hundreds of thousands of dollars, but was never brought to any accountability in a criminal court for any of that, a lot of Republicans say, well, hang on, why not? Why has Trump been singled out for what, in the end, is just a similar version to what Bill Clinton did? It's a payoff to someone to get rid of a story you don't like.
Over and over and over and over.
Yeah, okay. So the Trump conviction was not about the payoff, and it was not about the sex, and it was not actually about the women. It was about the falsification of campaign funds. It was falsifying his business deals. You can make of that what you will. And actually, I think I would feel very similar thoughts if Bill Clinton's case were around today and we were discussing that. But I think that you're wrong to say that this is a Republican talking point, because the Republican talking points have really been set in stone for the last, 4 years. We were hearing from Donald Trump in, I remember, August, September of 2020, that the election was rigged.
Okay, so again, this lady's not from America. I don't know where she's getting her news from, but this is not the same talking point. Again, what he was saying was in relation to that election and several states changing their voting laws to mold around the demic, that time of the time we're not supposed to talk about. So she's trying to make it seem like this is the same talking point now. It's a completely different conversation, but clearly the Justice Department is going after this man. Clearly several states are going after this man. So this is not related in any way to the rigging of that election, in any way, but she's trying to make that it. And I think she's read a lot of Axios articles and watched a lot of CNN, because she doesn't know what she's talking about. And she's not here. So that's what makes it really weird that she's so passionate as a TDS, Trump derangement syndrome having, I don't even know what she is, a journalist, a talking head, whatever.
That was before anyone had been out to vote. He was already imagining that he would lose an election.
Imagine.
He was preparing to tell the world that the thing that he was going to lose was rigged, so it wouldn't sound as bad for him. He's just a big fat liar and a loser. And it's really sad to hear people 4 years on still with the same narrative.
I'm sorry, Emily.
He's
Mandela. You don't get to say he did not say that in August.
And it's really sad to hear people. And it's really sad to hear people 4 years on still with the same narrative.
That's not even true. No, I'm sorry, Emily. Emily, you don't get to say he did not say that in August.
Visa, he did.
She's crazy. What she's saying is 100% false. But I've heard a lot of people on the left say this stuff. And where are they getting this stuff from? Literally, Joe Biden said that he marched with Nelson Mandela. And now she's saying it about Trump. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. And I love that guy in the middle. Like, dude, you need to relax. You need to relax.
He did. He went on.
Emily, where do you live? Emily, where do you live?
Before he went
Emily, I'm just curious. Where do you live right now?
Clearly not paying attention.
I'm very curious. Emily, I'm very curious. Where do you live right now? Where do you live?
Are you coming for me? I live in the UK.
No, I'm not. I'm asking you. No, hey, I'm asking you where you live. Because if you live in the United States of America, this past 4 years has been a complete shit show. Okay, Trump can grab him by the vagina, whatever the hell. I would much rather have the mean guy with the mean tweets and kicking ass economy, closed border than what's happening right now. I don't care about this stupid porn star for 20 years ago. It's about America. And people like you and people like Cenk are just butthurt because you guys hate Donald Trump. You hate him because he loves America. Get over it, okay? We have 2 case studies. Donald Trump for 4 years, Joe Biden for 4 years.
All right.
You guys are delusional if you want Joe Biden.
All right.
You're delusional.
Okay, hang on.
This is clearly for entertainment purposes because neither side of this panel are going to make valid points because they're busy insulting each other. It's pretty crazy. It's funny, but it really shouldn't be because these people should be able to have a basic conversation. But clearly, these personalities are out there.
Hang on, we've been joined by the eminent pollster Frank Luntz. Frank, you've been. Thank you for joining me in the studio here. Things getting a little heated as they often do. Let me just ask you. On the
I can't stand. Hold on. There is no one in politics that I despise more than this man on the screen. Let's see. This man on the screen. His name is Frank Luntz. He's a so-called pollster. He is a fraud. He is a scam artist. And he is a loser. I do not like this man. When I say there's no one in politics that I despise more, I mean it. And we're including Kamala. We're including Joe Biden. This guy here is the epitome of a swamp. He's Speaker McCarthy's former roommate. He's a really good friend with the turtle, Mitch McConnell. And I watched him in 2015 do fake focus groups with people who turned out to not be who they said they were. And this guy got every little poll and focus group that he threw wrong in 2015 for the election that came up with Trump versus Hillary. Every single focus group, he had people in his group saying that they used to be for Trump and then they decided they don't like him anymore. Oh, I don't like this guy. Let's hear this guy talk. Because he's going to say what I'm saying, but he's very... Oh, I can't say this guy. What he does is pretend to be neutral, but the truth comes out when he doesn't get his way. That's when he turns into... Look at him. Look at his hair. I can't stand this guy.
Perspective. What has been the kind of instant fallout from all this? I mean,
has there been an impact
either way for Trump's chances of winning the presidency?
We did 2 focus groups last night, but I need to preface it. I don't know if this makes you proud. I'm watching them yell at each other and act like idiots.
This guy's got on a suit. He's got on a shirt with no tie. He's got a blue T-shirt under. Men's for what is it? Men's Club for Hair. What is that? I can't remember what it is. There are different hair dyes for men that you can put the gray in there. You don't have to do this. He looks like an auntie right now.
All sides. I know that the American people are more divided than they've ever been. I actually care about this. You're both British and American in what you do. God help the British if they become like the Americans.
He said that he cares about the divide, but in 2015, that's what he did. Ever since he got proven to be a sham, this is what he did. I really don't like this guy. He is the epitome of dishonesty.
You think that the average American looking at this will be proud?
I actually think the whole debate around Donald Trump has become a bit like the Brexit debate in the UK. So toxic and so tribal, and so many people just lose their minds when talking about Trump. And that's why I always try and bring it back to, if I can, a sense of perspective and fairness, which is, has he been treated how other presidents have been treated for their own situations, like Bill Clinton with Paula Jones, the payoff, with Monica Lewinsky and so on?
So the question there is, in asking the undecided, the swing voters, people who vote Democrat and Republican, first, they do not believe these charges should have been brought. They don't think this is a big deal. The other cases are significant. This one is not. Second, they think Trump is guilty of this. The public
See how I just threw that in there? That's not what the people think. That is not what the people think. But let's go.
Trump was wrong. Third is that nobody wants him to go to jail over this. They don't want him. This is why the American people want to change in who the nominee is. They look at one candidate and they say, my God, he's so old. They look at the other candidate and they think, my God, he's so dishonest. And that's why over 70% of Americans don't want this matchup. The truth is, both sides, Democrats and Republicans, are trying to defend something that the American people don't want.
Notice the only dispersion he put on Biden is that he's old. Not that he's a liar also. Not that he's completely incapable of running the country. Not that he's failed in every policy that he's tried to put forward, infrastructure and all the money that he's wasted. Not inflation, not corruption in government, not the border. It's just that he's old. But Trump, he's so dishonest. He's a liar. This guy, my left eye hurts. Just looking at him and listening to him, there's not a more dishonest. I swear.
And as someone, you and I have had a few conversations like this. This used to break my heart. Now I'd say to them,
blind.
Cut. I'm not going to even say shut up, because then I'm playing their game. Cut it out. The damage that this is doing to the democracy, to the belief that democracy doesn't work, that no one's listening, that they'd rather have a food fight than actually get something done. In the end, inflation is more important than this trial. Immigration is more important on the Democratic side. Abortion is more important, and healthcare is more important. We're having this shouting match, this food fight, when in fact Americans believe that Washington doesn't get anything done.
Should he have been prosecuted for this offense?
They don't think so. I can't answer that because I'm a pollster. I can tell you what the impact is, and it is awful. And if you love your country, as these people say that they do, they'll stop behaving this way. It really is that bad.
Has it improved or diminished his chances of winning, though?
It's raised him more money in one day than any ever before.
Has to help him.
And his base is even stronger. Here's the problem. The public is afraid that it's now made it more likely that after the next debate or the next trial, we're going to see violence.
See, this is what he really wants to do. He's pushing these. So what he's doing is he's pushing the neocon narrative. And that's that Trump is dangerous. Not everything that's happening in this country, not all the things he just listed when he talked about inflation and poverty and the border. Those things aren't going to cause an issue. It's Trump. And these never Trumpers, this is what they do. I finally started seeing some sway. What I do is I use my timeline as a really good gauge of where all the Ron DeSantis people are. These are the people who picked Ron DeSantis and thought he actually had a chance, even though he has no personality. And he's a very good governor, but he's really, really, really bad as a candidate for running for president. He's not going to ever win the presidency because of how he behaved and how he launched his wishy-washy campaign And the people who picked him were calling him Trump 2.0. They were saying he's Trump without the baggage. Well, he couldn't even win his own state. So he's gone. But the people who picked him are still mad. Oh, I can't believe Trump did this. These, now, mind you, most of these people were, I would say most, half of these people were Trump supporters and now turned never Trumpers and are now supporting Biden. Think about what I just said. They're supporting Biden now because Trump humiliated Ron DeSantis and beat him in his own state. The guy who's supposed to be better than Trump got stomped by Trump. They were mad at everything Trump said about him, as if they didn't know Trump was going to do this. The guy tried to primary Trump, or it's not primary really, because he wasn't the incumbent, or he wasn't the president already. So it's not really a primary. He just decided to run against Trump, and I think it was a mistake. And I think he could have waited 4 years, and he would have had all MAGA support. But anyway, he got destroyed. His numbers fell down to third place, and the people who picked him as the chosen one are still upset about it. They're really, really mad. They're like the Drake people. They thought Drake was going to win. Then we got destroyed. They're just mad. They're mad at the world. They're blaming Kendrick Lamar's numbers on trolls instead of just saying, yeah, our guy lost. That's what they're doing. So he snuck that little shot in, and he's going to blame violence on Trump. Not the last going on 4 years of Joe Biden, his policies, and where this country is, and the wars that we're in, and the money that we're spending, and the money that we're diverting to illegals over Black communities. No. That's not the problem. The problem is Trump, the man who hasn't been in office. It's pretty incredible. And that's why I don't like this guy, because he's intellectually dishonest. And if you listen to him talking, you just look at his face. I can't stand this guy. I really, one of the few people I dislike. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head that I dislike more. Let's hear him. Let's hear him talk some more. I'm about to cut it off because I'm almost at my wit's end with this guy.
The public now believes that it's less likely that we will come together when the election is over. Piers, this stuff matters. We are at the precipice of blowing ourselves up. We can replay this whole thing right now.
War's not going to blow us up.
And say, my God, we saw it happening and we didn't do anything to stop it. You're the only one who has an American and a British audience, an American and a British sensibility. I know this is good for ratings. I know that people get a kick out of this. It's entertaining. But I'll tell you guys something right now. You continue to behave that way, making faces, insulting each other. You're destroying the tenets of democracy, and we have to stop.
Well, let me ask the panel. Let's get them back.
Before the panel responds, he just told them to shut up.
Up, and let's get their reaction to that. Cheng, you guys are all part of the problem.
Yeah. So look, I actually agree and disagree.
And of course.
So when Frank says that, hey, 70% of Americans don't want either one of these candidates, I totally agree. I'm with the American people. So when George Santos says that Joe Biden's a liar, he's right. That's one of the rare things he's right about. Joe Biden's a huge liar. He lied about getting arrested with Nelson Mandela, fighting apartheid. That is a giant lie, let alone the fact that almost all of our politicians are liars. The reality is they take campaign contributions and then they do exactly what their donors tell them, corporate Democrats and corporate Republicans. So that's why I'm a populist. I agree with the American people. But on the other hand, here's where Frank is wrong. So, brother, what do you want me to do? These guys come on and they say absurd things like, "Oh, it's okay to invade the Capitol." It's Trump has thick skin. He has the thinnest skin I've ever seen. He's a little child. Trump breaks law after law. He used to hire undocumented immigrants. He's cheated and lied throughout his entire life. So what do you want me to do? Not fight back and just go, "Oh, you're right. Everybody is bad. So Trump should be allowed to break all the laws."
Okay, your point is a good one because George is just going to sit and talk over you. And I know that.
So you see what he did? He went on for about 2 straight minutes, and then at the end of what he was saying, the liar starts talking, and he goes, "Your point is good because you're left, but George is just going to talk over you." That's not what happened. We just saw what happened. He talked and insulted the right for a minute or two straight. And then when somebody at the end starts trying to get in, he said, "Oh, they're just going to start interrupting you." And he's trying to make it look like it's one side doing it.
That you can't get heard. But the better approach to this, and we've tested this, is literally silence. Now, Piers will be upset because that doesn't get ratings. But everyone knows what George's background is. It's a fair comment to say that he was literally tossed out of Congress. But why do you respond in kind just because he's going to yell over you? And the gentleman with the tie, I saw you making those faces and waving your hands and all that. Would you?
So he's sitting there talking about their behaviors, and now he's insulting them one by one, except for the leftists that he agrees with. The other two guys, he's going to sit there and hurl insults, and then when they respond, "Oh, you're making my point." He's doing exactly what he's saying they shouldn't be doing on TV in front of America for the betterment of the country, of course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Would you want your kids to behave that way?
And he brought up his kids. How do you think somebody's going to respond? What would your mother think? I swear this guy is the biggest hypocrite. I hope you guys see why I don't like this guy. He is the worst.
Do you feel good?
Yeah, hold on a second. Well, first of all, I don't know who this pollster is, but I'm going to say something right now.
Well, he's one of the best pollsters in the world.
For you to call me an idiot, he loves his polls. They always work. But for somebody that doesn't know me to call me an idiot, this is coming from a guy that dyed his hair and it doesn't even match his beard. So let's not start insulting each other. I'm a United States Air Force veteran.
You literally just proved your point.
See? So you see what he did? He sat there and insulted the guy. He did call him an idiot. He told him to shut up. He asked him what his kids would think of his behavior. And then when the guy makes fun of him back, oh, here we go. They're insulting me. I swear, I'm not going to swear. Okay.
I'm going to make a point.
Well, I respect. Don't all talk over each other.
You want to call me an idiot? You hold on. You don't know me. You call me an idiot. So now, just like with Trump, you guys can talk all the shit you want to Trump, but Trump can't fight back because that's what you want. You want silence. We're not going to be silenced anymore. I'm a United States Air Force veteran. My parents are legal immigrants. My brother's a veteran. My sister's a veteran. We are sick and tired of staying on the sidelines and just being nice. Enough is enough with people like you. Just sit there and let the left get away with murder. To hell with that.
Okay,
to hell with that.
Let me bring in.
Period.
Let me bring in.
I'm just going to go here.
Hang on, George. Hang on. I want to bring in Michael van der Veen. He's been waiting patiently.
That's all. I'm going to play something. I want to play something really quick about Luntz. So you guys know where my vitriol for this guy comes from. Let me close that whole window. I'm disgusted by the window. So this is Donald Trump talking about Frank Luntz. This is why Luntz behaves the way he does now. And I just want to show you guys this real quick. Because this is really the crux of everything. This is why the guy's sitting up there throwing all these insults at grown people and then going, "Oh, see, look at them respond to me." Yeah, you just insulted all of them. But let's listen to Trump and what he has to say about Luntz. This is what year is this? This is, if you guys can see, 8 years ago, August 7th, 2015. Here's the truth about Frank Luntz, and this is why he behaves the way he does. This is why he hates Donald Trump.
More about the debate and the post-debate analysis. You say that the media treats you unfairly. You also had some very angry words for Frank Luntz, who had a post-debate focus group asking a lot of questions.
No, I'll tell you about Frank Luntz. Frank Luntz came to my office.
Can I play the soundbite and then you respond?
Asked me to hire his company. Excuse me. Frank Luntz came to my office, who's a dunce as far as I'm concerned. I mean, you know, this guy is a major loser. Frank Luntz came to my office, asked me, first of all, he asked me for an airplane ride. So I gave him an airplane ride in a very nice airplane. Then he comes to my office. All he did is keep saying, "I want to come and see you." He comes to my office, wants me to hire his firm to do focus studies or something. I don't need focus studies. I told him, "Frank, I don't need focus studies. I have no interest." And after I said that, he does all these negative focus studies on me because it can't be right. Because if you look at polling and all the polling that's gone on having to do with the debate, most people think I won. Most people think I won the debate.
And what he's saying is 100% true. And I watched it in real time. It's after every debate, this guy would come out and say and do his focus groups. How many of you guys believe that Donald Trump? How many of you guys liked Trump before? They would all raise their hands. And how many of you guys don't like him anymore? They would raise their hands. I'm exaggerating, but that's essentially what he was doing. But I think they're going to play it right here anyway. But that's exactly what Frank Luntz did. I watched it in real time, which is why I can't stand him. And then later he went on to try and influence the Speaker of the House and all this other nonsense. Scumbag.
So this guy's a wise guy. Maybe he uses his little tiny power at Fox in order to get work. I don't know, but he came up to my office. I couldn't keep him away. I mean, the guy kept calling, please, let me see it. So I see him. I say, Frank, I have no interest in your polling and your focus groups. It's not, by the time you do your group, the deal will be dead, assuming I'm doing deals, which I'm not doing anymore because I'm running for president. So I told him no. And now every time I see a poll, it's negative. I mean, the guy's a lightweight.
So
total lightweight.
I just want our viewers, some of our viewers may not be familiar with who Frank Luntz is. So I want to play this moment so they can see who he is, and then I want you to respond to it. Take a look.
When you walked in here, how many of you had a positive opinion of Donald Trump?
Raise your hand overall. Now it's purple.
How many of you have a positive opinion of him now?
Yeah, only two.
Who was negative towards Trump when you walked in here? Who's negative now?
I liked him when I came in here because he wasn't the politician. But right now, he skirted around questions better than a lifelong politician ever had.
You know, he just let me down. I just expected him to rise to the occasion and look presidential. He didn't.
Let me down.
So what do you think is going on with that?
Well, I think if I hired his firm, it would have been a much different thing. Hey, look, this
100%.
focus stuff is, you know, I'm not a believer. And, you know, I'm not sure about this, but maybe he just grabbed some people and he says, let's do a number in Trump. You do this, you do that. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. I don't really care. The guy's a total dope. But he was up in my office begging me to hire him. I mean, the guy literally wouldn't stop. He kept calling. Finally, I agreed to see him. And then all of a sudden, I see these focus groups, and they're always negative. Yeah, I'm not a negative person. I mean, how can it be so negative when I'm winning in all the polls? I'm winning.
100%. So I don't like Frank Luntz's behavior. I don't like what he does. I don't like the games he plays. I don't like how he tries to wield this little power of his focus groups. You look at the questions. How many had a positive impression of Trump before he came in? How many now have a negative? Like that's trash. That really is trash. And then, yeah, he's just. I don't like Frank Luntz. But that's a panel that I wanted to share. There was a lot more towards the end, but I'm not going to go over it. You got the gist. I wanted to keep this under an hour because it is a premiere, not a live stream. But please like, subscribe, share. I will be going live. I have 2 live scheduled. I had one scheduled the other day. I had to cancel because my guest couldn't make it. But I still have 2 more lives coming up that are very, very good. And we're going to get back to what I was talking about, which is how to improve the Black community. We went over a few things that are very important. We went over some historical context as to why we are where we are now, and I'm gonna get back into that. I just had to stop and do this one. This is important to me. As soon as I saw Luntz, I'm like, oh my God, he's got a purple wig on. Anyway, thank you guys very much. I appreciate you all. Again, I will be in this premiere, and hopefully you guys are all here. If you'd like to support the channel, let's see. I was going to put some other links, but I don't have them here. Anyway, all right. Thank you guys very much. I'm going to end with music, as I always do. Music that I think is cool, music that I like. Thank you very much.